I don't know about you guys, but being inside all day, no matter how hard I try, has got me in a bit of a rut. I feel like I need to get out there and be creative. And with some of the restrictions lifted, I've decided to get out there with a friend and do a social distance photography session.
Is that what you tell yourself, 2 meters? Is that how you measure other things?
Lucy thinks she's hilarious. Hey, what's going on, creators? Welcome back to Leon Unity, the creative filmmaking and storytelling community by Leon Films. I'm Petros, as always, and I'm about to go do a social distance photography shoot with my friend Lucy, who you might remember from the What is Sisters of House Black video that I did about a year ago. Basically, I've been in a bit of a rut lately, and I wanted to go out and do something creative and something fun, something that wasn't editing the YouTube videos. With being in quarantine, it's been difficult, but now that some of the restrictions have been lifted, I feel like it was time to just give it a shot and be safe at the same time. And a funny thing is, while I've been in quarantine, I've actually been doing a whole bunch of editing of photography. You may have seen it on my Instagram. I've been trying out this new sort of minimalist preset style, but it's quite different from my usual vibrant and saturation and lots of colors like style that I normally do. So it goes with very moody and minimalist tone, and I created a preset for it, several actually, which I wanted to try out and use on these photos. So I'm gonna get going and go take some photos with Lucy and show how you can do a social distance photo shoot. So, how do you social distance and do photography at the same time? Well, the key mostly comes down to longer lenses. This is a 55 to 210 lens, meaning I can take the photos of Lucy from quite some distance away from her, while still maintaining social distance. I'm out here again in the forest taking photos with Lucy. There's quite a few people out today, but essentially, it's I'm just keeping gloves and mask on, even though government recommendations say you don't really need to when you're outdoors in open spaces. But I live with someone who is very much at risk, so I'm trying to keep myself safe while also keep myself sane and doing a bit of my own job still. So just so you know, it's still me under the mask.
That's like the first stranger I've spoken to. Oh, so strange. Because you're like told to kind of like not be friendly with anyone, aren't you? Kind of avoid everyone.
Yeah.
Alert, stay away. You just haven't interacted with any randomers over anything. It's so strange.
So, first of all, you've got to keep at least 2 meters distance between everyone. Now, this is an ultra wide lens, so it does look like we're further away than we actually are. See, this is a tiny little Lucy. I'm just gonna tap her on the head there. But we are about 2 meters apart right now, but we're on a 16mm lens, because that's the lens I use for talking to the camera, because otherwise I can never be sure if I'm in the shot, because I don't have a flip up screen. I'm just gonna grab Lucy's head, but this is right now, this camera is about, I would say, 2.5 to 3 meters away from Lucy, and about a meter away from me, so about 3 meters away from Lucy, yeah. Now the problem there is that this is so wide, I can't see Lucy at all. Now everybody loves their wide angle lenses, but during a time like this, and try and take portrait photos, which is what we like taking. If you're into landscape and stuff, then you don't have to worry about staying 2 meters away from a cliffside. Also remember to just breathe in when you've got a bit of space occasionally, because it's not good to not get any fresh air at all, and just be breathing your own fumes. So for example, I'm about to switch up my lens to a different one, and you'll see the difference between me and Lucy. Now, Lucy and I are actually further apart. The framing of me is exactly the same. So we're about 2.5 meters, 3 meters apart, but that lens is considerably longer. I'm gonna say what lens it is now down there, but I believe it is a 210 lens right now. We're on a zoom lens. I'm lighting myself up with a small aperture MC here because I'm right in the shade and you cannot see me at all. Can you? Ooh, I have no idea if that can hear me even. I have to boost that a lot.
Yow!
Now, of course, we're back to the same distance, but we're using a 50mm lens, which is it's good middle ground. I'm still about 2 meters away from Lucy, and the camera is about 2 meters away from me, or so.
So you tell yourself 2 meters to the camera.
That's further away than you think it is.
Is that how you measure other things?
It's the same distance between you and me right now.
Okay, my depth perception's off.
Lucy thinks she's hilarious in saying that I can't measure things correctly and I measure things wrong. I'll have you know my lenses are perfectly adequate.
Phrasing!
50mm is a pretty good distance to Lucy, because that way I get to stand 2 meters away from her, and I'm about the same distance from the camera, which means that I can be in this shot right now and still be 2 meters away from her. Now, when I go back to taking photos of her, I can still stay 2 meters away just in order to get the shot. Now, this is all on a crop sensor camera, so you'd have to add 1.5 for full frame. So that would be about an 85, 75-ish for 75mm for full frame camera. But if you're going with actual lenses, you can buy 85. It's probably the more common. So if you've got an 85 lens, that's what I recommend on full frame. Back to work. Another way that you can make use of these wide-angle lenses, if you still want to use wide-angle lenses and get close-up shots, which I generally don't recommend, is using either a remote or the timer on your camera. You know where your model's going to be, so in our case, Lucy here is about still 2 meters away from me at all times. It's going to be around here. What you're going to want to do is try and set up the shot beforehand, then get your model in. You're going to want your model to press the button which is set to timer mode. I'd say 5 seconds is good to get yourself away from the camera, and then they will take a photo of themselves essentially there. First of all, set up.
Petros, incoming!
You're lining up your shot first, set it to timer mode. Try not to do it in places where people will be a lot of foot traffic, otherwise you'll have to keep resetting the shot. Now, Lucy goes in front of the camera. Okay, so now Lucy is in front of the camera, as you can see here. And what she's going to do is come a bit closer to the camera. You can come a little bit closer still. I can't get that close to her, but what she can do is press the button and pose. The shutter button, Lucy, the one that takes photos. And just stand a little bit closer to where you are. I want to get you like relatively close to the camera, okay? There we go. Or the smartphone app, but they're kind of a pain in the arse, so just personally recommend using a timer. It's much easier. All right, ready?
There was a TikTok on how to get your booty to pop.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. Give it a piercing gaze straight down the lens, okay? Let's put hands on both sides. Yep, that's better. Yep, sorry, just trying to get my phone in place. Nope, that's not working. And stretch, full stretch out. All right, just to demonstrate how far away she is from me right now. That's keeping your distance. Hey, Petros from the future here, and I've been editing the photos in post now in Lightroom and sometimes in Photoshop, but basically I've got a free preset. It is available down below. It is a pay what you want. If you want to contribute any money towards it, I would be immensely grateful. Believe me, during these times, it's really difficult for people like myself to earn any money. This photo shoot that we did was not a paid one. It was just for fun and to get me out of my funk. I hope you like these photos, and you should check them out on my Instagram, which is @PetrosOfSparta. You can follow me there. If you've been watching the video, you'll have seen a whole bunch of the raws and the final versions a few times. I'm really proud of these, and I really like how these turned out. Want to give a thanks to Lucy. Her links are in the doogly-doo. There's some great photos in here, and I really enjoyed what we did on this shoot. So basically, just, you know, if you want to try out these presets, just remember that when it comes to presets, they're not the end product. Presets are just that, preset. You use them and then you adjust based on your actual image. These will just adjust and give you kind of a very moody style. There's a couple of different ones that are available for download. The free one is in the description, and I might create a full pack later on that is going to go into a couple of different city styles. Like, I think I've got one that I've designed, which I'm just calling London Minimalist. There's the Forest Minimalist, which is the one that we've created here. And there's a whole bunch of different stuff. I just bit my tongue. Ow. Not the smartest. Right. Anyway, back to the forest. And so that about covers today's video. Basically, there are multiple ways you can still be a photographer or a videographer and photo shoot. It's going to be a lot harder when you get into settings that involve actual filmmaking and actual, like, short films where you have to have a gaffer, a sound person. It's going to be very difficult, and I don't think that right now is the right time for it. But if you can keep as far away as Lucy and I are from each other, use long lenses to make things look close together, then you might be alright. Also use long lenses because then you know to get your framing right, it's okay. Crop sensors work great as well because then it forces you to take a few steps back just in order to get the framing. Alright guys, now get out there and create new worlds while wearing a mask.